Hello. Every country in the world has their own style of etiquette, and I want to talk about the Norwegian etiquette and how it differs from ours here in the States. Norwegians all have the same etiquette. They all follow the same rules, where here in the States, it can differ from house to house. Some people allow people to wear hats at the dinner table, some do not. Some, you gotta take your shoes off at the front door, some just don't care, you can walk throughout their whole house. Or there's grace and not grace at dinner time as well. We also tend to have a very informal way of greeting people, such as "Hi, how are you?" or "What's up?" and they usually come back with the typical response of "I'm good" or "Nothing much." We don't usually tend to look for anything deeper than that in our greetings either. We like to keep a bigger gap between us as we talk here in the States compared to other countries, especially in Europe, that they usually are a little closer to each other when they're talking. Unlike most countries, we will have business dinners or business meals at any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. In Norway, it's usually only lunch, sometimes dinner. Also, if you're invited to a dinner party or some kind of formal, informal party type of thing, usually show up 5 to 15 minutes later than the start time of the party. This is much different in Norway. Now, gift giving in Norway needs a little planning. If you're invited to a dinner party, you have to bring a gift. But keep it small and inexpensive. Expensive gifts in Norway are found to be more like bribes, and they take that as a disrespect. Bring flowers, chocolate, wine, pastries, or even liquor. If you're going to bring liquor, bring whiskey or brandy, because they are the cheapest of liquor. And liquor in Norway is extremely expensive. If you bring flowers, make sure that they are not carnations, a bouquet of white flowers such as lilies, and do not bring a wreath, even at Christmas times. They are all reserved for funerals. If you're invited to dinner at someone's house, obviously bring a gift like I just mentioned, and do not be late. Norwegians are very punctual. 7 p.m. means 7 p.m. If this is a non-business related meeting, do not talk about business. They value their free time a lot more than we do, and if it's not business, they do not want to hear about it at all. If you are invited to this party, you have to make a toast to the host or hostess. Always look directly at the person making eye contact, raise your glass, and towards the end, or right at the end of the speech, nod your head, and you're supposed to say something in Norwegian, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Also, you have to know which hand goes to which utensil. So forks in the left, knives are always in the right. Here in the States, it's usually whichever feels best or whichever hand you're dominant with. Over there, it has to be fork and left, knife and right. Business etiquette. When you're going into a business meeting, you usually introduce yourself with Mr. or Mrs., your handshake, and then your last name and last name only. First names come about once you are comfortable with each other and the meeting has started to progress. Do not introduce with just first names. For a long time, they go with just last names. Punctuality again. I have to stress this because this is very important to them. Do not be late. If you're going to be even a few minutes late, 3, 4, 5 minutes late, call them, explain your situation, and this will help you out greatly. If you are not from Norway and you are there on a business meeting, do not criticize Norway. Take in the time to appreciate the country for its beauty, for its culture, for anything. If you bring this up in a positive manner during the business meeting, it'll look very good on you. They are very proud people, and they very much love their country. And also never compare them or lump them together with the Swedish or the Danes. Their base of their culture is called egalitarianism. By the definition from the British Dictionary, it is an adjective related to or upholding the doctrine of equality of mankind and the desirability of political, social, and economic equality. This is huge to them. They are all about people, liking people for who they really are, not how much money they have, not what kind of cars they drive, not their political standings. It's who the person is, or even who they aren't. These are huge to them. Now I have a very short video I want to show you of a guy who used to live in Norway and can tell you a little bit more about how things go.
I think just overall they're very just environmentally aware. So you have a lot of people that actually, use the bus, you take the trains. Their train system's actually, very, very well developed. And so yeah, whereas in the United States, you get on a bus and there's maybe like 2 other people on there with you. Whereas in Norway, you get on and throughout most of the day it's packed. As far as work goes, they're morning people. I don't know how they do it, but compared to the U.S., where most jobs are 9 to 5, they go from 8 to like 3. And they usually only work 7-hour work days too. Like I said, they value more their free time and, spending time with their kids and with their families. So they take less money for just, more time off. Crime in Norway, it's almost non-existent. It's ridiculous how safe you feel pretty much everywhere. You can walk anywhere in Norway. Like, I've heard of most different missions where they have, okay, we don't go this place in the area, like, you want to stay away from this area at this time of night or whatever. Norway, like, I'd go and I'd check the area books, and we had absolutely nothing about that, because pretty much everywhere is safe almost all the time. As far as housing goes, most people live in a lot smaller houses than their economic situations would say they can. I don't know. It's something with the way they value things. Like, they just don't need as much space as, we like to have in America. So they get along a lot better just in smaller areas. They like to be more so, just humble about their housing, I guess you could say.
That last part touches on the egalitarianism of their culture. Thank you. This has been my presentation.